Okay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Alright. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Of course, double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Alright. Who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us His truth. Which, hey, in the very near future. Whoa. Isaiah 33 and 6. Alright. This is Naaman with the DC camp. And this article is from Signs of the Times. Alright. Puppet Masters. The lost promise of free speech for everyone. Big tech has turned the internet into a prison. Alright, of course this came out Wednesday of last week. But I'm bringing it out now because I forgot to do it last week. Okay. Alright, so here you see in the inset here, it says a smartphone inside the White House briefing room shows a suspended Twitter account of U.S. President Donald Trump, January 8th, 2021. Of course, that's 2 days after the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. And, you know, you don't hear much about that. And those that did the offense, sounds like they may be getting some sweetheart deals. Who knows? Who knows? Wouldn't surprise me. Goes on to say, I once thought the internet would have the same effect on corporate media gatekeepers as the AK-47 had on colonial empires in Africa. That was before big tech turned that promise of freedom into the second coming of feudalism. Wednesday's decision by Facebook's oversight board, a transparent attempt to outsource responsibility for censorship to an international committee to extend the ban on 45th U.S. President Donald Trump, is just the latest example. But by no means the most egregious. Earlier this week, the ban hammer descended on RT's digital project, Redfish, over posts criticizing Italian fascist leader Benito Mussolini, who has been dead for oh so long, and the Holocaust of all things. Now, which one you want to bet? Alright, got their behinds in a sling. That's right, you guessed it, the last one, the Holo hoax. The Holo hoax. Alright. There you go, and to the right, here we go. On the nature of evil. Alright. That's why he had you motherfuckers locked away, because you were that evil. Alright? He goes on to say, how did it come to this? Years ago, in an argument over media censorship, I had brought up the internet as the modern version of the AK-47. While the European colonial armies were able to conquer Africa in the 19th century using machine guns and repeating rifles, they became unable to hold it once the Kalashnikov automatic rifle put the peasants in places like Congo, Angola, and Vietnam on equal footing with Western armies seeking to keep them down. Or, if you want a more peaceful metaphor, it was the promise of open pasture extended to people who had previously been treated like cattle, pinned up in factory barns and fed slop from a trough. Alright? And of course, that's in relation to Jake. Alright? That was in March 2011. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter were already around, but they were challenging the gatekeepers and offering their platforms to the common people like myself. Okay? In 2016, everything changed. That was the year Trump was able to bypass the corporate gatekeepers, using those platforms to speak to the American people directly. See, so he circumvented, cut out the middleman, and went directly to the people. Having consolidated the internet between them and under pressure from politicians they already supported, wink wink, the corporations running these platforms began censoring content and users. First gradually, then suddenly. The pretext for this was Russiagate, the conspiracy theory pushed by Democrats and their corporate media allies to explain Hillary Clinton's 2016 fiasco delegitimize Trump's presidency and, as it turns out, justify censorship. Alright, so let's go back to this hoax crap, because every time someone mentions this, some people get really fidgety and nervous. See, the truth does not have to have any kind of defense like this. Alright, threatening people with jail if they deny. If it was the truth, it's the truth. But your actions speak volumes. Alright? Everybody know you're full of shit. They just don't have the power to do anything about it. Alright? And that right there is why you're trying to rush and get this New World Order established. Alright? So I looked this up, and because that quote about it says to learn who rules over you, supposed to be attributed to Voltaire, but no one seems to find that he actually said that. Alright? So it says it probably came or originated with a white supremacist. Anyway, here's the quote. It says, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. Voltaire, right? Okay. It says, the meme pops up after any sort of outrage over a statement that pokes at perceived cultural pieties. Alright. Skipping on down, it says, the quote is unanimously attributed to the French polymath Voltaire, who in fairness was an aphorism spouting machine. The problem, there's no record of Voltaire ever having said it. A Google search of the quote turns up absolutely nothing before 2012. Alright? The closest source to have been located is a 1993 text by white supremacist Kevin Alfred Strom entitled, All America Must Know the Terror That Is Upon Us. Alright? Strom was a co-founder of the West Virginia-based white supremacist organization National Vanguard. He later pled guilty to charges of possession of child pornography and served 2 years in prison. Why am I not surprised? It says, here's the likely culprit from Strom's book. Right here. It says, to determine the true rulers of any society, all you must do is ask yourself this question. Who is it that I am not permitted to criticize? We all know who it is that we are not permitted to criticize. We all know who it is that it is a sin to criticize. Sodomy is no longer a sin in America. Treason and burning and spitting and urinating on the American flag is no longer, and it cuts off there. Alright? So, I mean, you get the point. Hey, and it says, learn this quote from Voltaire in school in the 70s. You can try to delete history, but enough of us know better. It says this, it can be found in Candide. In every province, the chief occupations in order of importance are lovemaking, malicious gossip, and talking nonsense. There's your fact check for you. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire. Alright, so that settles that. Alright. Regardless, it's true. Alright. So, let's see. It says, having consolidated the internet between them, alright, got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms, and under pressure from politicians they already supported, alright, I already read that. It says, as demonstrated by the recent example of Twitter's clash with Russia over illegal content, or Facebook's standoff with Australia over paying for news, these mega corporations aren't opposed to censorship or committed to property on principle. Rather, their only principle is the whom reductionism, a world in which they and those they agree with can do no wrong, while anyone else can do no right. So true. Look at what's happening now. Anytime you bring up contradictory information to this BS, COVID-19 BS, alright, now you're accused of putting misleading medical information or some bullshit that pops up. All right, when in fact they're the ones that are doing it, because the media, the army, and several other, the medical establishment, all these people are working together. All right, but they don't want you to connect the dots, so to speak. All right, but this is all because this man is coming down. All right, this is 2 Thessalonians 2. We're in this period now. It says the man of lawlessness. All right, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. I'm going to start at the top. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him. It tells you in Matthew 24, certain things you notice there be signs, and we're supposed to pay attention. We're children of the day. 1 Thessalonians 5th chapter, all right, not of the night, all right. We're supposed to be sober in mind, all right, and pray, all right. It says watch as well as pray, all right. It says that you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit nor by word nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And we are indeed in those times now. Alright? This man is nervous. Alright? That veil in Isaiah 25 and 7 has been lifted. That spell is being taken off. We're out here on the highways and byways, alright, professing that we know who we are now. Alright. So he's pushing for his New World Order. This Agenda 21 and all these other things, alright, that are a part of it. So here's a question I like to pose to people from time to time. We know that the atrocities that were committed in this devil acquiring what he has by unscrupulous means, rape, robbery, murder, treachery, deceit, any other wicked way you can think of. So here's the other part of that. What do you think he's going to do to hold on to it? There's a reason that scriptures such as Daniel 12 chapter is there. Alright, let's get there real quick. This is Daniel 12. It says the time of the end. Alright. Let me get my King James here. Let's see. Daniel. Alright. It says Daniel 12. It says, Michael shall deliver Israel from their troubles. Alright. It says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Think of that for a moment. Let that rattle around in your brain housing group there. Think of all the, as I stated, rape, robbery, and murder, the transatlantic slave trade, even the things that happened in ancient Rome, ancient Greece, all the other captivities. It says none of that was going to compare to what's coming. And that's why I brought up that scenario, or the question rather. What do you think this devil is going to do to try to hold on, alright, to his ill-gotten gains. There's a reason why this is here. It's going to get so bad. And it's not that far off. That time is, trust me, it's not that time. It's not that far off. All right, let's go back to the article. It says, the long march from banning Alex Jones in 2018 to banning the sitting president of the United States in 2021 was completed with surprising alacrity. The collusion with Silicon Valley to ban Trump on the blatantly false pretext of inciting insurrection on January 6th may have been the political Rubicon, but big tech had begun putting their finger, fist, and even elbow on the political scales long before. And anytime you see something in reference to Rubicon, that just means the point of no return. All right. He says, does banning the New York Post over Hunter Biden ring any bells? How about the pre-bunking of the 2020 election outcome arranged by Democrat activists more than a year prior? It's in the infamous February Time article, the one about the heroic fortifiers of the proper election. All right, Democrats in certain key cities and counties. Oh, I'll skip down. Slocket. It says the one about the heroic fortifiers of the proper election outcome, buried among other bombshells and easy to miss. There was also Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg literally donating millions to Democrats in certain key cities and counties to help collect and count mail-in ballots. The list goes on. Why? We keep telling you, or I should say the elders have, this whole system is crooked. You should not be invested in Democrat over here, Republican over here, because neither one of them are for us. All right? That's why it tells you in Deuteronomy, that's in the law. Deuteronomy 17, let me get it real quick. I believe it's 15. Let's see. Let's scroll on down here. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Most High Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But here's the thing. In this time, you notice this devil, he will find sellouts. All right? So this is why it doesn't matter in this case, because this place has to be taken out. We need our kingdom. We need to be in rulership. All right? So point being, while this devil is ruling, that's never going to happen. All right? Let's see. Yeah, people just invest in too much thinking about the Constitution. You got to remember, what was our position when all this was being set up? We were in hardcore child slavery. None of this is meant or intended for us. You got to get a Voting Rights Act and all this other shit for people that's supposed to be, at least by word, and this place is just wicked. It's not for us. All right. Let's see. That's pretty much, well, let's see. It says, I still think I was correct in 2011 arguing that internet had broken the information monopoly, cable channels, and newspapers. The plummeting ratings and newspaper because you got to also remember, it's running through my head now, what Hillary Clinton said not too long ago about them losing the information war. All right. See, they some things happen that slip by them, certain situations that elude their control, and they have to try to put things back in order. All right. This is what happened here. They could no longer control the narrative. All right. It says, unfortunately, big tech figured it out as well and succumbed to the temptation to turn the promise of open pastures into the very factory farms it was supposed to replace. Exactly. Somebody got to them. All right. So in reality, you kind of naive there, thinking that it was going to continue that way, that you were actually going to have a voice, that you were going to exist outside of their control. Again, this place has to be destroyed, pure and simple. The beast system has to be destroyed. It says, now we're not just back to eating slop from the corporate trough, but everything we've said while believing in freedom has been harvested and can and will be weaponized to cancel us at any time. Look what they're doing to our videos on Facebook, on social media, period. All right? Especially on YouTube. Again, going back to that quote. You know who's in the rulership. Well, you can't talk about those people. They're going to run with that lie. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Oh, feel pity for us. All right? They've conned the world on that bullshit. And have the nerve to talk about a welfare state. It says, one might call this called techno-feudalism, except the overlords have no obligations and the serfs have no rights. Way back in 2019, Trump had tweeted a meme. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. Can you honestly say now that he was wrong? So there you go. You never had people, especially our people. And it's never more true now because you're seeing, just take something like this mask policy. This is something that's drawing a line. This devil is able to determine, well, who's going to follow me and whatever I say? Who's not going to give me any opposition? And you see them driving in the cars by themselves with a mask on. Woman today got on 2 masks, I saw. It's fucking sad. Nobody around them walking down the street, even jogging with a mask on. Someone sent a little video in the group chat. Motherfucker was swimming with a mask on. I shit you not. This is why we bring up scriptures like Isaiah 51:14 is supposed to hasten the day. Alright? Let me get that real quick. Hasten to be free. This is Isaiah 51. Alright, there we go. It says, the captive exile which we are. Alright, some of you don't believe that. You think because this devil gives you, well, you can get a job, you can go to school and all this. This is to further his agenda. This helps him. It doesn't help you. What we're trying to give you will help you. And it's free. Sell the truth. Buy it not. Let's get that real quick. Salaki had it backwards. It's Proverbs 23:23. Buy the truth and sell it not. Alright? Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. Salaki for that. Buy the truth and sell it not. Alright? Christianity. To be more specific, prosperity Christianity. Sadly enough, even some that know they're Israelites, they fall under this. This is free. You don't have to go to some theology college, some seminary, whatever have you, to learn from people that have no clue to what the scriptures really say. And even if they did, they're not going to tell you, because it's like, you'd be surprised, I think, how many people know who we really are. But that's what this has all been about. Psalms 83. Everybody's in cahoots, all right, when it comes to keeping us in a lower state. All right, so with that, I'm not going to continue on with this. It's made my point. Once again, from Signs of the Times, puppet masters lost promise of free speech for everyone. Big tech has turned the internet into a prison. All right. So with that, I hope whoever views this is edified. That's what we try to do here. This is all done and trying to wake up the remaining hopefully elect. All right. So with that, shalom.